It is true I have been nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous. But why would you say that I am mad? See how calmly, how precisely I can tell you a whole review to you. Listen. This one shall be made as a special request for a certain individual and friend called Jeremy Sherman. And to make it extra special for you all, it will be about the worst movie I have ever seen, titled Bratz the Movie. Yes, I know how you all enjoy a review of a bad movie. I'm not mad, I know what you like. But beforehand, I should give you a little bit of background about what the Bratz were during their time alive. It all starts with the toy line of dolls, which began back in 2001 by MGA Entertainment. The purpose of them, as their tagline stated, is to present the girls with a passion for fashion. Although they didn't become an immediate hit, they gradually grew into a large franchise, offering spin-off lineups like Bratz Babies, Bratz Pets, and Bratz Kids, as well as TV shows, video games, direct-to-DVD animated films, and even CDs. I remember back in the 2000s, how those dolls make me irritated. All I saw was a bunch of Barbie ripoffs, but the only difference is how they were made for girls who wished to be whores in their future. They were nothing but a bad influence and caused nothing good by their existence. You may think I might have been harsh there, but actually, I know that I'm not the only one with that mindset towards the toys. Throughout its life cycle, the Bratz have been faced with more controversy than success. Many committees and associations accuse the toys for being over-sexualized and encouraging ideologies to girls regarding body image, lifestyle, and many more. This also includes how the toys could almost be put in the category of slave-labored, since the factory workers in China making the dolls had to work 94.5 hours a week with a 50-cent an hour pay. As for how I called them a Barbie ripoff, that too has been noticed by many. Mattel went to sue MGA not once, but on several occasions. They even tried as far as getting the entire Bratz brand from them, but it did not work out at the end. However, even if they did, there would be no point. Nowadays, with an ever-fading popularity and sales reaching new lows for the toys, it's most likely safe to say that the Bratz are dead and shall be missed by no one, or at least no one who is not mad like myself. But going into the subject in particular I will be talking about, in 2007 came a live-action feature film released by Lionsgate. Of course, it became hated by both critics and audiences, and rightfully was a box office bomb. It also was a 5-time Razzie Award nominee, including for Worst Actress for the main 4 girls, and for Worst Picture. However, most of them were rewarded to I Know Who Killed Me, starring Lindsay Lohan. But those trophies mean nothing. I would rather have 2 Lohans with me than sit through that insult of cinema and common logic. I had the misfortune of watching it for the top 10 worst films based on a cartoon, and not only did it immediately go at number 1 on the list, but it was the worst thing that I have ever seen. So, now that I said all that, let's look into the film. Our story begins with the franchise's 4 girls: Chloe, the sports girl, Jade, the more sciencey girl, Sasha, the cheerleader, and Yasmin, the outcast who doesn't know where to fit in. That is the only way you could tell them apart other than their appearances. Outside of that, they are just the lazy trope of the good girls whose only trait that makes them stand out from the others is that they have absolutely no intelligence.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to imagine you with a personality.
They're all just a bunch of bumbling airhead valley girls who normally be the type in schools that everyone would seem to admire, but actually spread rumors around of who or how many they slept with. Oh, but that's not the kind of school they entered, oh no. Instead, they applied in this weird, made-up fantasy school who only accepts the most ludicrous social stereotypes you can ever find. It is embarrassing to see how they portray the jocks, the nerds, the emos, the sports fanatics. They even have groups that don't even exist in a real school, like mimes and people who like to wear dinosaur hats. It is the kind of school that they could have a jiving black man holding a bucket of chicken rapping his love for watermelon and white chicks, and he wouldn't even seem out of place. the whole school is entirely run by the movie's antagonist, Meredith, who is best described as a dictator, always obsessed with keeping her peers in order and lock them in their respected stereotypes. So when she sees that the Bratz would come in and rebel against her to not be in any other trope other than being the dumb Valley Girls, she pursues to sabotage their friendship in any way she can. Also, the movie tries to build up that she has this dreaded USB key as something we should all fear. But why? It turns out, though, that she evilly fills it with the most horrible things. Embarrassing photos of the girls at school.
Do you think you could transfer it to this?
Oh man! Oh God! Oh man! Oh God! Oh man! Oh God! Oh man! Oh God! Oh man! Oh God!
Now the question remains, what is her reason to keep everyone in order and play big sister who always watches? Well, since the movie forgot to give an explanation to give her motive, I shall tell you. She's mad, completely lost her mind, and only demands power and praise. I even have proof that she is mad. Look! Her father, who is also the principal, is John Voight, an absolute madman. Not only is he insane enough to think Donald Trump would make a good president, but he even tried to sabotage his own career with this film and Baby Geniuses too. Yes, they are mad, not I! But some of you wonder, what is the story of these girls? What is their adventure they go through that demanded almost 100 minutes of our time? I do wonder that as well. So I waited. Watched. Waited. I was never so kind to the film. I was watching it each minute, each second, and I waited. But scene after scene, every minute in the slowest clock, a full narrative story never came. For more than an hour I waited. You see me mad? What madman would wait, could wait so patiently for a terrible film so long? And yet, there was no story. There never was a story. All it is a series of ways the Bratz foil Meredith's plans to break their friendship. In fact, the movie comes with a repetitive formula mixed with some of the worst writing that can ever be thought up by man. Here are two examples of what I had to deal with. The first is a little trick by Meredith. She asked her Poochie to stop her boyfriend from talking with Chloe. So the dog tugged her pants, which made her slip, her lunch coincidentally falls on Jade, she coincidentally trips and rides a garbage pail, her food coincidentally lands on Sasha, she slips on a skateboard that coincidentally made Yasmin fall in a pile of food, causing the girls to get mad at each other, the entire school then goes in a giant food fight, and coincidentally have the girls break the principal's bust! All while Meredith is standing there with confidence like all this was her plan. And if you thought that was bad, wait until you hear this one. Meredith, again, has a plan to put the girls back in their stereotypes. So what does she do? Throw a big budgeted Sweet 16 party and invite the whole school while being broadcasted live on MTV. Technically, she already had a Sweet 16, but the movie is allergic to common sense.
I'm throwing another Super Sweet 16 party.
But you're already 16.
I'm throwing another Super Sweet 16.
On top of that, the Bratz knew that this was all a plan to separate them and could easily avoid the problem by not going there. But Chloe's mom not only needed help to prepare the food, but also needs servers, which they volunteered and go to the party anyways. I try not to think about how illogical, pointless, and especially stupid that scene is, but that would be one way to drive me mad. Of course, the Bratz and Meredith aren't the only characters found here. However, all of them are just meant to push an old trope or a stereotype. Some of the ones that stand out more, like a sore thumb, include Yasmin's mom, the chocolate-loving Mexican mother,
Dos chocolates! Dos chocolates!
Dos chocolates!
her younger brother, who I could swear is an alien because I cannot see any human being behave like that, and Dylan, one of the love interests who says that he is deaf, but it is obviously clear that nobody in this film knows what a deaf person is, not to mention put in any sort of effort to make him seem deaf. The movie could easily said that he was blind, a mute, or even have Down syndrome and it would have the same effect.
Wow. So that's how you heard me?
Well, I didn't exactly hear your voice. I felt your voice.
Liar! Liar! He's a hole and so am I!
And if you think that the movie couldn't go any lower to present their ineptitude on filmmaking, they even tried to include musical numbers.
Know it's all about me. You know it's all about me. You know it's all about me. You know it's all about me.
If there is a purpose to these songs, if any, it's to represent how out of touch these filmmakers are to the current times, how they desperately tried to connect with the younger crowd, but are only rewarded with the downsides of doing so, one of which is making the film outdated. So you see, these are just some of the many problems that this movie has. I can list you all of the issues in this, and it could take as long as the movie itself. Then I heard it. It might have been a comment, or a post, but no. Louder, and still louder. I hear people giving it credit, saying despite the movie being 99% flawed, it still has a good message about being yourself and not to meet with social expectations. No, there is nothing good to say about this. You think it has a good message. Well, it's not the first time that it's been said. It didn't invent it. And what cruel irony is this coming from a film that fills itself with nothing but social stereotypes and a brand that pushes kids to be Valley Girl tropes? If anything, the last thing on earth that should tell me about being myself is a toy line that emphasizes on nothing but their looks, fashion, and going out with boys. This is the equivalent of Hitler telling you to respect other people's beliefs. Yes, of course, those people, they're torturing me, watching me, playing the beat so that I... Stop it! Stop it, you devils! Yes, I did it! I know that I ripped off the angry video game nerd in my top 10, and yes, I know my katana wasn't as sharp as I thought, but I had no choice! It was there on the floor! It is the absolute worst movie that I have ever seen! The writing is just absolute filth! The actors didn't even try! The message is convoluted! The story doesn't know what to do with itself! The characters are nothing but the dumbest stereotypes captured on film! The songs are unbearable! It has no sense of reality or the simplest of logic! Nobody put effort into this, and everything about it is a disaster! I have never even seen an animated film that is this horrid! I would rather watch Norm of the North, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, the animated Titanic films, Food Fight! I would even take Where the Dead Go to Die than that nightmare of a feature! Yes, I give it a 1 out of 10 and the AniMat's full of garbage! It is the worst thing that has ever been made! Stop it! All I hear is the beating of its hideous heart! Then it was over. The movie was done. The dolls are dead. I'm free. And thus concludes my review. True, I had been nervous, very nervous, but I'm glad that I got it out of my system. I would like to thank Dr. Jeremy Sherman for suggesting me to do a review as a helpful way of therapy, which is rather effective. And I would also like to give a shout out to the nurse who helps me with support. Honestly, she is very cute and seems very nice. Maybe one day I'll ask her out for dinner. I'm sure she wouldn't say no. I mean, why would she say that I am mad?
I'd rather die.